What's up, you little oddballs? We're back at it again today with a new video, and today we have a special one. Okay, this one is it's not a rant, it's not anything, but I just want to say I'm playing Halo Infinite, and today I'm going to tell you why you should as well. Because trust me when I say there's so much I can say about this game. There's some bad, there's so much good that I can say about my favorite game of all time, Halo Infinite. And God, I know because I said that, despite it being in a joking manner, somebody's going to take that out of context, and I'm going to get a lot of really angry comments from it. I can't wait. They're going to be like, Halo Infinite's your favorite game. You've clearly not played, you're not a real Halo fan, or something like that, even though I've been fucking playing for almost 20 years. Like, I guess I'm not. I'm truly what they would call a poser in the Halo world. I like all the games, and that's my main issue. Mostly more than anything, because I'm saying that, it reminded me of something to shout out my boy Jeff on Instagram, who decided to cook me on Instagram one day because I said I like all the Halo games. Like, dude was absolutely seething at the fact that I liked all the Halo games, and then I proceeded to make him more mad because I kept replying with, "Thank you for that, Jeff. I do not remember asking." So, shout out to my boy Jeff. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he is up to. All I know is that he does not like new Halo, which is, that's fine. You don't have to. That's my favorite thing about Halo is, like, just because I like Halo 4, 5, Infinite, like, I have my things that I enjoy about them, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to as well. That's the best thing about games in general, is like, just because I like it doesn't really mean that you have to. But today we're not focused on that. Today we're focused on what I love about Halo Infinite, because goddamn, there's a lot that I do love about this game. And I gotta be honest, the biggest thing, so if y'all don't know, I play a lot of different games. I play a lot of different shit, and I've done it here on the channel. I've played quite a few different games, and I've constantly came back to, whenever it comes to me playing a multiplayer FPS title, of, well, why do you always return back to Halo Infinite? Some people ask me that. They're like, the game is, it's not doing the best. Halo's been in a rough spot for a while, for a good long while, too, unfortunately. But people ask me, why do you continue to play this game? Why do you love it so much? Like, what actually brings you back to Halo Infinite? I'm gonna be honest. I am someone who, whenever I pick up a game, I, like, don't get me wrong, I like having content, like, in the game. I like having new shit to, like, do and fuck with and all of that. But more than anything, I am a person who is a proprietor of good gameplay. That is something that I've always looked at, of, if this game feels good to play, I do not care how much content is in it. All I care about is this game feels good to play, it is rewarding to play, and overall, I just like what it has to offer compared to other games. And going into Halo Infinite when I started playing, which was quite a while after the initial release, don't, like, mind you, like, I did play on release. At the time, I just really wasn't playing a lot of Halo, if I'm being completely honest. I was playing a lot of different games around that time, but when I finally decided, like, I'm gonna go play Infinite, like, I want to give this game a shot, there was a lot of preconceived notions. I want to set that as, like, a precipice for this video. It was like, I had a lot of preconceived notions about Halo Infinite and what it was, and, what the people's feelings were on the game. I just got an overkill. Beautiful. Love to see that for me. But whenever I started playing this game, I was like, wait, why does this game get so much hate? It feels so good. And it, like, I would, like, legit say, like, as a Halo fan, as a long time Halo fan, this game is up there for me with Halo 3, which is, like, personally my favorite Halo, and I've talked about it before, why Halo 3 is my favorite. I know it gets its fair share of love and hate from the Halo community. There's people who love Halo 2 and don't really like Halo 3. There's people who love Halo 3 and don't really like the other games, like, after that. The reason Halo 3 is my favorite, it was, like, really my first, like, on my own experience with Halo. So if you don't know, I got into Halo because I actually got invited to a LAN party with my brother once, and we went over, they were playing Halo 2. I was like, what the fuck is this? Played it, fell in love. And at the time I didn't have an Xbox, so I really just had to, like, play it whenever we would go over there. And that was the only way I could play Halo. And then whenever the 360 came out and I, heard about the release for Halo 3, the first thing I begged my parents for was, hey, can I please get this game? This is the game that I want. And I ended up just, like, falling in love with it in the entire series. I went through and played all of them, and I was like, yeah, this is what I like. Like, this game just has something for me. And I've always loved Halo. Like, I still love classic Halo. I still play classic Halo. Like, I love those games. But Infinite offers, like, this unique thing that I love, and, like, like I said, it may have its fair share of issues. Do at times I think movement in this game's a little too crazy. Yeah, I will agree with that. Movement can be a little insane in Halo Infinite, but at the same time, when it comes to the movement style of Halo Infinite, it's a little bit crazy, but it feels very rewarding when you master it. And that also goes to the gunplay as well. Halo Infinite has some pretty unique gunplay that I don't think any other Halo has really had. Um, and it's something that I've stated before, and I'm going to continue stating it because I do think it's a very valid point to make with 343 Halos, is they really focus on the gunplay elements of Halo. I feel like Bungie games always had this, like, floatiness to them when it came to the gunplay that, you know, the later titles from 343 just don't really have. Like, wait, I gotta get this fucking kill tack. Can I get another? Can we get another spawner? Can we get a spawner? Can we get a spawner? Nope. Okay, but I got a kill tack. I'll take it. But it's one thing that I've always loved about the newer Halos is, like, they're always, like, super focused and very pinpoint on the gunplay that it feels like genuinely just so good to play. Like, it's something that to me has always stuck out about them, and Halo Infinite is a game that is, like, a perfect example of that. Every time I'm playing this game, despite, like, connection issues that will happen here and there, don't get me wrong, I get ghost shots. Like, I really do be getting those ghost shots quite often. But the one thing about this game, whenever, like, you're playing on that really good connection, you're not playing, like, 100 plus ping, you get that, like, you know, 40 to 50 range and lower, like, this game feels so fucking precise that I cannot help but love it. And learning the game has been genuinely so rewarding to a degree that I compare it to Halo 3 with the way the movement works, because in, like, Halo 3, of course, you didn't have, like, sliding and sprinting and stuff like that. Even though I do feel like sprinting in this game is more of, like, a placebo sprint. It's not super, super fast. If you've played, you know, Halo Reach, Halo 4, and 5, like, the sprint was very noticeable. This game, it's a lot less noticeable, and you're allowed to be a lot more tactical with it. That's one thing I like. Like, one thing I've noticed playing ranked at, like, where I'm trying to go up, and also just, like, watching higher level Halo, there's not a lot of sprinting around that. It is a lot of just, like, the base movement speed, and using the sprint to really get to one place to another using, like, G sliding and stuff like that, like, getting that down. That's mostly what people use sprint for. It's not to, like, move around the map faster. Like, a lot of people are using that base movement speed and just kind of, like, intertwining around the map, kind of like you would with classic Halo, using a lot of jumps and stuff like that. And that's one thing I've always loved about Halo 3, for example, was that there was uniqueness to the movement because there was a lot of things that you could do that gave advantages. Like, there were certain, like, jump points you could get onto, or you could do nade jumping and stuff like that. And it added so much versatility to how the game played, and I feel like Infinite has a lot of that too. And that's one thing that actually, like, has always kept me coming back to the game, is the movement just feels so polished and intertwined with how a map is supposed to play, with things like the grapple, thrust, repulse, for example. Like, it all feels like it's perfectly intertwined with the map and how it flows, and that's one thing I've always loved about it. Even, like, on a scale of, like, BTB, which is 12v12, it feels very well intertwined and allows people to kind of form their own playstyle, kind of like I said, what Halo 3 did. And I don't even know, I love Halo 4 and 5, and I have a lot of good I could say about those games as well, and negatives as well. I will say, Infinite's biggest fall off is, one, with the development that the game had, it felt very, like, nothing correlated. As we've known, like, the team was very disconjoined and shit, which adds for a lot of different, like, styles to the game, which is cool, but also feels very disconnected at times, especially, like, in a multiplayer sense with maps. I feel like sometimes they don't know exactly what direction they want to go, and that's kind of led to an issue with certain maps, I think, also from the Forge side, where it's just dark, it's just gray, and while there are some great Forge maps, do not get me wrong, like, there's Forge maps that are, like, actually, like, bangers in this fucking game. Like, I will die by that, and I will, you know, tell you that, you know, straightforward. Like, there are maps in this game that are bangers that are made by forgers, so, like, that's not to, like, give anything bad towards them. The dude camping with the fucking needler is like, yeah, I'm better than you. Because you had a fucking... Yep, well, get fucked, nerd. Alright, where he at? I'm going for him. He's gonna be my next target. Because now I'm, like, not focused on the conversation. I'm focused on killing. I knew he'd do it. But, genuinely, like, that's one thing about Halo Infinite that to me has always been kind of a low point, is that, like I said, it feels, like, very disconjoined at times, and it doesn't feel like the art style is, like, very set in stone. And I feel that way with multiplayer a lot, where I'm like, damn, these maps look bland. I feel like if, when it came to multiplayer, and the Forge maps themselves, if they told the Forger, like, hey, we have this idea, this is what we want from this, and kind of set like a precipice in stone for like an aesthetic, I think the multiplayer maps or the Forge multiplayer maps would be significantly better and more like received well. Because, for example, I use a map like Elevation, Corrosion, and fucking like Interference, for example, or even Solitude is up there of like they're just bland, but in a not so good way, and it's very very weird. Like there's certain games that I feel like can pull off that art style and do it very well, but it's not Halo's art style. Like it doesn't work with Halo. Like for example, like a game that I think that style of like artwork in map direction works very very well on is Gears of War, for example. I think is like the best way to describe that. Gears of War's always been like gritty and gross, and that's kind of the vibe. Like that's what they're going for more than anything is gritty and gross art style, and it really forms into the multiplayer and does it very very well. And that's something that I think Infinite does miss. But besides that, like that's not something I'm super super like worried on. Like the base maps in this game look fucking phenomenal. Like the dev made maps in this game, genuinely some of my favorite Halo maps of all time. Like I will wholeheartedly, I will die on that hill that the dev made maps in this game are just fucking phenomenal. They look beautiful. Like I mean, I'm playing on Bazar right here, and this map I think I've always had like a very unique style to it. I love like a lot of the sandy maps in Halo. I've always loved, and this one it gives that same feeling to it. Like it's something that I've just like always been like, damn, this looks good. Like this is a very very solid looking map, and there's no way you could change my opinion on that. It just looks very nice, and the aesthetic is very pleasing. And there's other maps like Streets that I think has a very very cool art style where I'm like, damn, this looks fucking awesome. Like is it the cleanest map? No, but it just has this like overall like feel to it that really does set in stone like what they were going for on that map, like aesthetic wise, and I've always loved it. I don't know what it is. Streets to me is like genuinely one of the greatest like designed Halo maps ever when it comes to an aesthetic point of view. Like, and I mean that like wholeheartedly. I do mean that. Like, it's just one of those maps that has always stuck out with me. Is like it fits exactly what I think of when I think about a Dark Knight city map in Halo. And there's other ones too that also hold up on that. So I feel like that's like, you know, there's complaints and also very good things about like what they've done with that. I think it's mostly just applies to Forge where it like kind of falls short, and I'm like totally okay with that. Like I said, they're not made by devs; they're made by people who just like making maps, and I think it's sick. Like genuinely, I think it's one of the coolest things about this game is they've really allowed forgers to do a lot. I do think there should be, you know, more spotlight put on forgers for sure. Like genuinely, I think forgers deserve a lot more spotlight than what they get, of course. But like overall, I've got no complaints with the forge maps that we have received for the most part. There's definitely some stinkers in there. I ain't even gonna lie, there's some fucking stinkers in there. I'm not talking about you, Corrosion. It's one map that I fucking can't stand. But that's like besides this whole point of like, why do I play so much fucking Infinite? Why did I drop 2,000 hours in this game last year, for example? It's probably something people ask me a lot, and they're like, dog, why would you still be playing this game? Like, it's just, it's struggling at times. And listen, it's as simple as what I said at the beginning of the video. I love this game's gameplay. To me, whenever I am playing Halo Infinite, I'm like, damn, this game just feels good. It feels so responsive. It feels like, how do I explain this? It's everything that I wanted Halo to feel like whenever I was a kid to a degree. Like, you know, there's the conversation with like Sprint and all that, which I'm not gonna have into. This is a 10-year long conversation that I'm not gonna get into because I just don't fucking feel like it. But genuinely, like, I've always wanted Halo to feel like this precise, and it's something that, like, while I love the clunkiness of Halo 2 and 3 a lot, it's something that also bothers me sometimes, where I'm like, damn, I'm so happy that games don't feel like this anymore. Like, it feels very precise and on point, and that's definitely due to, like, technological advancements, but also, playing Halo Infinite on MNK compared to playing, like, MCC on MNK is two very different experiences. Like, I still do play MCC on MNK. It's definitely a lot harder. Like, I can slay out, but there's also like times where I am not doing that, and especially like when I'm first like getting back into the like swing of things, I'm like, damn, I'm struggling over here on this game. But I don't really get that vibe with Infinite. I can like take breaks from this game and come back to it and continuously love it. I don't know what it is about this game. It's something that has like always to me fueled like this entire game. Like I just love the way that it feels. When I hop in and I play it, I'm like, damn, this feels like a really solid game, and it's the only FPS that's gave me that feeling in recent years. Like, I've played BO6, I played X Defiant, I've played Apex. I've played all of these fucking games. Like, and none of them give me the feel that Halo Infinite does, despite the issues, despite the things that have happened that I do talk about. There's one big issue that's happened recently that I kind of talked about a little bit here and there, which was the dig site situation that isn't a good thing. And that's a whole fucking insane issue that was going on that I don't even know where to start from to even talk about it because it's issues on both sides of the fence when it comes to this whole thing. And it's really unfortunate. It sucks for the Halo community as a whole. There's also the issues with like forgers wanting to be paid for the efforts they do, especially if it's going to be used in game as like a main selling point for people to come back and play and have new content. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to that. But when I'm talking about a game experience, I love this fucking game. Like whenever this game is over with and we're finally going on to the next title in the Halo series, it's going to be weird for me because I'm going to have to do a big video on Halo Infinite and how much it kind of like changed everything for like how I play games and how I do content and everything because genuinely it has. I've met a lot of great friends through this game. I've had a lot of fun experiences with this game. I've hit so many fucking clips it's not even funny. But yeah, play Halo Infinite. Give it a shot. I know it's had its rough times, and if you have, not played in a while, come back and try it out. I know I've convinced a couple people to, and hopefully you enjoyed as much as I do. Other than that, though, it's been your boy Core Boy, and I will catch you later.